today we have a powerful episode. I want to take you into the busy day of a busy mama. Let's just imagine here for a second. The kids wake up, they are having a cranky morning. And so then you are trying to cope with the fact that somebody's having a meltdown. Another person is also kicking and screaming because they didn't really like what you packed in their lunch. And then we have somebody else who is avoiding breakfast because, of course, they want chocolate at breakfast. And then so on and so forth. And you can't get to your coffee or tea or any sort of morning routine. So then you're setting yourself up in your day off. And then they finally get to school, and then you have a chance to maybe breathe, or maybe you have that 9 o'clock meeting that you said you were going to have, or the 9 o'clock yoga class that you wanted to go to. And are you actually prepared for those things? What if on the way there you get cut off? What if you spill coffee on your shirt? We've all had those days, right? And what do we do? What do you do when you are completely dysregulated and your nervous system is completely dysregulated? How do you cope? How do you create safety and security in your own body where you feel so juicy, you feel so complete, so whole, where then you are not emotionally spilling over onto the closest people in your life? Hey loves, do me a quick favor and hit the subscribe or follow button wherever you are tuning into this. It helps grow the show more than you know. Thank you so much again and enjoy. Now, I know I've been there before, mamas. I know I've heard your stories, your DMs, your emails. And if you aren't part of our newsletter list, do become an insider. You can get our weekly tips and our behind the scenes episodes with other of our favorite guests and some of the ways that we can stay connected. It's actually at neetabhushan.com/insiders. And my affirmation card for you today from my That Suck Now What affirmation cards is everything is always working out for my greatest good, even when it doesn't feel that way. I'm aligning with what is meant for me, even when it means closing doors on things that no longer serve me. What are things that no longer serve you? Well, if I just kind of painted a picture of your vision for your day or of what just happened, and you're listening to this or watching this and you were driving in the car, okay, pump the brakes, because we can actually turn that around. Instead of it being that running voice in the back of our minds, how can we create safety in our bodies? And I know, mamas, we are equipped for so much. Our bodies are equipped to hold a baby for 9 months. Okay, fine, it's 10 months. Be able to juggle so many things, be able to be the CEO of our household and all the birthday parties and all the travel and all of the coordination and all of the things that go behind the scenes, the camps, the holiday stuff, all of it. And we don't really talk about it. I mean, let's be honest. We pretend like everything's okay when in fact it is a little bit crazy. But we deal with it and we go through it, and it's almost like we pummel through it. And I want to take a step back here, because as we get into the holiday season that is approaching, and I'm thinking about this for myself because we are having a whirlwind as well with things that are coming up in terms of kids' schools and the holidays and all kinds of things that every year I try to prepare myself mentally. And so while October is very much a self-care month, and I talked about this in our previous episode, and if anybody has missed that, I will link that in the show notes, of how you can actually show up for you. But what tends to happen when we're dysregulated? Well, we take it out on the closest people to us. We start yelling at our kids, and I know I'm guilty of it too. And no, you're not. This is not to penalize you. This is not to say you're a bad mom or a bad parent or a bad whatever. It's just to pay attention? Can we actually zoom out? And actually, and this is what I've been practicing as well, is that thing important? Is that thing important that we actually have to go to? Do we have to say yes to that? Because what I've been practicing energetically is really containing my energy so that I have more energy for the things and the people that really light me up. And there have been moments where I want to be that person for everybody else. I've always been that person. I'm the mama bear for my family. I'm the mama bear for my extended family. I'm the one that's constantly organizing all of the things for everybody else. And I am feeling into this season where I am cocooning. I am not fully expanding. I was expanding in the summer and now I'm like going inward. I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that when it's October, the leaves are falling in certain places. I love the fall. I love the changes. I love the seasonality. We kind of don't really get it here in Austin, but I'm imagining it. I'm visioning it. And when I lived in Chicago, where we had the fall months where things would get really busy, I would still have my walks and I would have my walks and I would just pay homage to the trees and the leaves that were changing color. And it was just such a beautiful time. And I would get lost in nature. I would still be by the beach. You know, I love water. All of you who are watching, I love, love, love water. And but that would be my connection back to me. And that is a place where I feel that's where I regulate my nervous system. I didn't have language for it before, but that is my place where my nervous system would get regulated. Why? Because water is a reminder for us to really flow. It allows our emotions to really flow. It allows us to also calm. It allows us to say, all right, does that really, really make a difference for you? Are you really having to push yourself to do that one extra thing? Is that really going to benefit you or your kid? Can you miss that birthday party if everyone is just not feeling it? Do you have to force your kid into that class just because you paid for it for the whole semester and they're not feeling it? So what? You miss a class, you miss 2 classes. We all need a chance to breathe. We all need a chance to give ourselves permission to say, you know what, I'm not really feeling that today. I'm going to have an off day. I'm going to have a mental health day, but really mean it. And what does that actually mean? Does that mean that you're going to sit on the couch and Netflix and chill? Or are you going to go to maybe a happy place? A happy place can look like walking around the block, can look like just being outside in nature or the local park or the local preserve or anywhere where it is calming. When we talk about this concept called, the Japanese have a word for it, Shinrin Yoku. Shinrin Yoku is a Japanese term for forest bathing. And there is data behind why forest bathing or spending time in the forest, spending time in nature, spending time where there's tons of trees around you so that it can calm your nervous system, so that we can actually be present to nature, so that the oxygen that's being released in those trees, we are absorbing, so that we can actually ground our feet in the grass and reduce the amount of negative ions. We can actually do this on the beach as well. It's probably why the beach also regulates our nervous system. But you might actually ask, Neeta, well, I'm so dysregulated. How how can I operate when I am just in my fullness with my children? They're not listening. They are squabbling with one another. Nothing seems to be going right. I've got a picky eater, whatever I make, like it's just the list goes on, right? What can we actually do? Well, let's before I get into what can we do, let's talk about what are signs of you being dysregulated, right? What are signs of you being in dysregulation? Well, what happens is our nervous system is trying to create safety and it's craving safety. So when it feels dismissed, either from friends, family, children, it could also be a sense of rejection, right? They're rejecting your ways or your rules. They're not listening to you. They maybe are talking back to you. you in your body and your nervous system, it could trigger spirals of past instances, situations, circumstances where you didn't feel safe in your body. And then who do we take that out on? So if that little girl or little boy in you did not feel safe, who are we then taking it out on? Are we lashing out on the people closest to us? Typically, yeah. So then we have signs of overly intense emotions. We also can get impulsive behavior. So, hello, retail shopping. Have you heard of retail therapy? It is a thing. We have this lack of emotional awareness, so you're taking it out on other people and or situations and or doing things out of haste, or maybe even making threats to your children or others because you are not feeling safe with the discomfort of your own emotions. It's hard for you to actually make decisions. So if there is a tons of events, birthday parties, get-togethers, pumpkin carving, etc., garbas, Diwali parties, whatever is going on, you might have trouble making decisions because there might be an overwhelm. It might be so overwhelming to commit to other people because you can't have a sense of control in your own body or even safety in your own body because you can't trust what is happening in your body because everything is reacting to you. You're also maybe even experiencing this inability to manage your outbursts in whatever way that it looks like. You might be using distraction mechanisms like maybe picking up your phone, numbing. Numbing is a self-soother. Numbing is a soother. It's one of the ways that we learned to soothe. So some of us soothe with food, ice cream, candies. We soothe with Netflix. We sit on the couch. We don't want to be bothered. We just want to numb out because our nervous system is so overwhelmed and we don't have the tools to come back to our own safety. So it searches outward, or we are telling our problems to every single person that can hear them, completely spilling it outward, or we do whatever it takes to avoid emotions. We might be turning to work and signing up for the next project and the next work project and the next project because having to deal with what's going on at home or having to deal with the emotional instability in your body is so much harder than being able to confront those emotions, the emotions of overwhelm, the emotions of anxiety, the emotions of feeling stressed, the emotions of feeling not heard, the emotions of feeling unworthy, the emotions of feeling rejected or rejection. And all of this then can wreak havoc on our nervous system. We can tend to go after partners who are also emotionally unavailable or also have emotional dysregulation. And that's how we get into trauma bonding patterns, where you are bonding together over traumas that have happened because the dysfunction is so big and you feel safety in one another. It's no wonder why people who tend to be more dramatic attract more dramatic people into their life. And so I want to bring this here because it started out, mamas, as the pickup, the drop off, all of the things that we have to do in our day to take care of our little ones. But what can we actually do? So we've learned what it looks like to be completely dysregulated and how we can feel completely out of tune with our body and how we can actually be more in tune and come back to a center within ourselves. How do we create safety, security, and sovereignty within ourselves so that we can be fully contained and really expand into some of the uncomfortable or discomfort and emotions that we are faced with on the day to day. So, one of the things that we can actually do, and one of the big tips that I have is when you are feeling dysregulated, when you are feeling that you are completely out of control or things are kind of out of control, put your hand over your heart. This is one of the best ways that we can initially ground ourselves. We've had people like Dr. Kimberly Snyder on the show who has shown us the brilliant data and the research behind heart math. And, we don't need the data to really show us or support us as to why being able to connect with your heart, being able to bring back a sense of even touch into our heart, or even tuning in and really focusing in on how can I just cradle the little girl or the little boy inside of me right now who feels threatened, who feels unsafe, who feels that they have to take action and fight against the world or fight against whatever is coming at them. And how can we even just take a deep breath with that sense of, all right, I may not know all the answers right now. And what I can do is just honor that I'm feeling really tender, or honor that I'm feeling really scared, or honor that I'm feeling really frustrated. And the second thing that you do is you acknowledge those emotions. We have to acknowledge those emotions. Otherwise, it's going to be ruminating in our head constantly. And we're going to just think, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. It's going to activate the fire energy, the pitta energy, the agni in our body, and all of the irritable emotions that we have, the anger and so on and so forth, because we're just ruminating it in our head instead of actually saying it out loud, saying the thing that we are thinking about, saying the thing that we might be even ashamed of, because maybe it's something that we're still working on, and that's okay, right? We get to be a model to our kids. And so what? If you actually blow up to your children, you can actually say, every moment we get a chance to repair, just like you did with your relationships, just like you did with your spouse, with your loved one, the person that, has your heart. You can actually practice this with the other people in your life, like your littles, like the next generation. And so to be able to say, Mama's having a hard day. Sometimes you have a hard day. Mama's having a hard day right now. I just need to take a minute. You're modeling emotional intelligence. You're modeling safety. You are modeling acceptance of emotions. You are modeling truth and honesty and vulnerability. And you're modeling a way of helping them handle it just by as simple as putting your hand over your heart, giving yourself that bear hug. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm just hugging myself. And fine, it might look silly in the boardroom. Go to the back room, go to the bathroom or the bedroom or wherever you need to, or a closet somewhere where you feel safe. Because again, this is that work of repairing what you needed when you were initially exposed to something unsafe, where it triggered your nervous system to go into, oh my gosh, I'm not feeling safe right now. And I feel like I'm completely out of control, and I need to start screaming and yelling, or I have to grab the junk food and stuff it in my mouth, or get on my apps and start scrolling vigorously to get that dopamine up so I can numb and numb and numb, because these are ways that we self-soothed. But what can we do now that we have other tools? The next tip is to be able to allow ourselves to breathe. Breath work is the best work to be able to get into our bodies. We are inducing this forced kind of almost this hyperventilation. And what it does is it helps us regulate our nervous system. It helps us activate new neural pathways in our body when we are holding our breath. So starving ourselves of oxygen for a noted period of time. So when we are taking a breath in through our belly, our diaphragm, through our mouth, we can hold it in. And maybe count up to 7. And then release. It's allowing us to activate our rest and digest, our parasympathetic system, because our sympathetic is running on high. If we do that 3 more times, hold for 7, release for 7. All of a sudden you feel lighter. So I would love for you to practice this. And this you can do while you're waiting for pickup, drop off, in the car, in traffic, you're running late, you are in between calls. It's all you need. You can do that. It's one of the methods is box breathing, where you are doing a count. I like to do a count of 7 counts in to hold the breath, 7 counts out to hold the breath, to release the breath, 7 counts to hold, and then again, 7 counts in. And then you just want to repeat that 3 times, and you'll notice a difference in your body. The third thing that we can actually do to regulate our nervous system, and this is probably one of the most important things, is if you are feeling dysregulated, allow yourself to shake, shake, shake. Give yourself a dance party, jump up and down. I have a rebounder in my office for that. I have a rage room in my garage, in my studio for this. I have pillows behind me to throw and, of course, to sit on for meditation purposes. Throw, punch. You're releasing that energy, that pent up energy. And when you're rebounding or when you're shaking, you're actually shaking the lymph in your body. And that's so profound for your nervous system. You're shaking things up. You're actually giving a place for these emotions to go. So it's not stagnant. It's not stuck inside your liver or your kidneys or your gut. You're able to let them go. And that is huge. And when we are talking about shaking our hips don't lie. Thank you, Shakira. Because that's where we store a lot of our trauma, in our hips. So why not do a twerk session? Why not get your groove on and put a song on and start dancing? And I do this so often with my kids, where if something is happening in the car, or they wanted one snack or another wanted another snack, and they're dysregulated because they're probably just hungry or cranky or tired after school or after their activities, one of the things that I do is put on songs that I know they will love. And they are so into Bollywood right now. It is hilarious. And we have our go-to songs. And that changes the mood like no other. I mean, who didn't start grooving and dancing to music when their favorite tunes are being played on the radio back then, right? Now we have access to Spotify and all of our favorite tunes just within the snap of our fingers. So why not utilize that? Why not create the environment for you to thrive? And that really supports your nervous system. The last thing that I want to introduce us to is in the evenings when we are calming ourselves, and works great for our babies as well, or at least this has been a practice in our house. Feel free to try it. Is where we have, I'm having my kids now soak in salt water, Epsom salt baths. It's just great for detoxification. And it's also great because they love to play in mud and they love to get dirty. And, salt water really not only helps because it's just natural magnesium and it gets them calm before bed, but the trick is you have to have them soak in it for about 20 minutes and to receive all the benefits and to soak up all the benefits. But we've been doing that, and that is a game changer because then they get extra sleepy at night. And I love this too. My joints feel better. My body feels so refreshed. And I feel like there is something about the Epsom salt baths. yes, magnesium is something that we are all deficient in, and it's something that it replenishes us, especially when we are soaking in with an intention to rest and relax our muscles at the end of the day. And the other thing that I've been doing with my kiddos and myself is just supporting our bellies with castor oil. Castor oil has been around. It's an Ayurvedic ritual for thousands of years, and we apply organic cold pressed castor oil on our bellies, on our back. Mamas, it's sticky. So if you wanted to use a pack, you can get one of those off of Amazon. But that has been a game changer. I don't really mind that it gets the pajamas dirty. I mean, you kind of get used to it, but it is a game changer. They love rubbing it on their, on their tummies and their back, and it's kind of like a ritual that we have before they go to sleep. So, and for me, I feel like I've had the most profound deep sleep with castor oil. It has a lot of properties around detoxifying the body, helps move your liver and detoxifies your liver, which also helps with some dreams. I mean, you can go search it, look it up. Maybe I'll do a whole episode on castor oil because I've definitely been feeling into that lately. This has been something that we've been doing in our home for the last 6 months, and I am definitely a believer of castor oil. I put it in my hair. I put it all over my body. It has been such a game changer for myself and my kids as a routine and a ritual that we do to calm our nervous system. So if this has helped you at all, if this has given you a spark of what you can do that is instant and quick and it doesn't take a lot of time, go ahead, let me know. Tell me in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube. I would so love for you to hit subscribe, as well as if you are listening to this or watching this on Spotify and or iTunes or Prime. If you click that like or follow button, it helps us grow the show more than you know. And share this with a mom friend, share this with a bestie. Maybe you guys can all dig on some of the ways that can really support your family, especially now, especially that we're getting into the more busy season of the year. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this added so much value and love into your homes, into your life. And don't forget to be just a little bit more brave. I will see you next time.